OMG, let me tell you guys, the internet is on fire.
Thing.
Yep.
It does.
Now your mic's on.
Oh, okay.
Well,
For once in my life, it wasn't my fault, okay? For once in my life.
So we talked about this a little bit yesterday. We're going to go into a little deep dive and make the decision ourselves. As we know, Justin Baldoni and Blake Lively have been fighting in the press, fighting anywhere that anyone will listen. And now the latest claim, Justin Baldoni came out saying that the movie Deadpool has a very specific character in it. As you know, Deadpool has a lot of different universes, which means they have a lot of different Deadpools. One is this very woke, claims to be a feminist. His name is Nice Pool, and he's like very soft-spoken, very sweet, and is like, no, I get women. I'm a feminist. Like there's all these things that go along with it. Justin Baldoni now is going to a place of, I am going to sue and make sure that the courts give any sort of communication around the creation of this character because I believe that this is mocking me and is based on me. It's a weird vibe, people. It's 2025. This is what we're going into it with.
When Mike brought this up at the end of the show yesterday, when it came out, it was like, did you just read that right? Like, am I hearing you correctly? And you're like, no, that's literally what this lawsuit says. Like, what this says.
And as I was reading it and saw the link, I was like, am I on a normal web? Like, This is Variety, right? That's reporting this? What is this? It felt so fake and so, farce. It didn't make any sense.
We're going to put aside the matter of, okay. And actually, the question we want to dig into at this moment, now, again, we're gonna tap back into does it matter? Is it illegal to take attributes from people you've met and create art, because that is what art is. But we're going to put that aside for a second and we're going to focus on, does this feel like they are mocking Justin Baldoni? So I took to editing. I used all the best editing equipment, aka my phone and my Disney Plus account.
Oh, that's good. Those are good equipment.
You're welcome. And I literally filmed my laptop to put together the two parts that they are talking about. The first scene we are going to be listening to is Nice Pool, the one that is based off Justin Baldoni, talking to Deadpool. So you're going to hear two Ryan Reynolds. There's a stark difference in their voices, and you'll know why. That's the first scene. The second scene that we're going to jump over to, that's just attached to this clip as well, is a line that they are claiming is mocking the It Ends With Us drama. And it's actually the character Deadpool. It's not, this one has nothing to do with Nice Pool, where his brain is getting like the psychic is using her psychic power. And so it kind of has her hands through his head. So it's a very odd visual, but the whole concept is she's kind of infiltrating him. And he yells out something that we're going to have to dissect and figure out, is this an attack on Justin Baldoni? Play the clip.
But in here, everybody calls me Nice Pool. Oh my goodness, wait till you see Lady Pool. She is gorgeous. She just had a baby too, and can't even tell. That's okay. I identify as a feminist.
So now we're to the next clip.
And where in God's name is the intimacy coordinator?
So where in God's name is the intimacy coordinator is the second line that they've attacked, saying that this is an absolute moment where they're making fun of Justin Baldoni, which is a little confusing too, because she was claiming there was no intimacy coordinator. And then we have his receipt saying that she tried to get him to meet. He tried to get her to meet the intimacy coordinator. And she said, no, I'll meet him when he's on the job, or he or she's on the job. And then again, that first clip is Deadpool or Nice Pool mentioning that she got her body back right after having a baby. And
but it's okay, I'm a feminist.
It says, okay, I'm a feminist, yeah. So, Kendall, this is the first time you formally have heard it. I would love to hear your opinion on this.
If I didn't know that Justin Baldoni was coming with these accusations, I would not think anything of it. Yeah. I would just think this is just parody off of a lot of people who act like this.
Yes.
Because he has said that he thinks this is based off of him. And I don't know, maybe one of you two did look into this. We don't know when things were shot, written, what the timeline was, if it lined up to when things were going on behind the scenes during It Ends With Us was also the same time that this was being written for Deadpool, or at least acted out Because if it's not, then it's just coincidence. If it was, then it absolutely 1,000% is making fun of him. And one of the people that commented on the video you made, Brittany, and then we watched it, mentions, oh, did you, spoiler alert, did you see the part where he's killed in front of a flower shop? Like Lily Bloom's flower shop?
Yes. Crystal Ralph wrote, what about when Deadpool kills him in front of a flower shop, kills this character that's supposed to be based off Justin Baldoni? There's also a man bun, which I guess there was a point in Justin Baldoni's life where he was growing his hair out.
For locks of love, I think.
I think there was a cancer donation talked about as well. And then there's a lot of people that say, I mean, we haven't even gotten to the does this matter part, but if we're breaking down, is this him or not? People say, no, there's like kind of a leaning into like the very overtly Canadian vibe that he's giving off.
I will just say, as far as timeline goes, both of these movies were basically filmed and wrapped at the same time. They both had to be delayed because of the writer's strike at times. So you have to imagine a lot of this drama that took place behind the scenes that we're talking about in this lawsuit had to be in that mid-2023 range. The film wrapped up early 2024. That's how it ends with us as being described. And Deadpool finished filming January of 2024 as well. So they were basically being filmed and worked on at the exact same time.
And so they probably would have been like,
how was your day, honey?
Blake Lively would have been introduced to, Justin Baldoni prior to that too. So they have already had have had interactions together to base a character off of this.
Wow. The crazy thing about this is if he hadn't come forward with this information, and one of you fill me in. I know that you read the statement yesterday, Mike, but is this all part of the lawsuit, the libel lawsuit with New York Times, or is this part of since Blake Lively is suing him, he's countersuing? So he's like, hey, keep this stuff for our lawsuit. Like, is that what this is about?
I haven't seen anything exactly which lawsuit it's tied to. All it is saying is that his representatives, his legal team, has demanded that Disney and Marvel both preserve all the documents relating to the portrayal of Nicepool in Deadpool and Wolverine. It doesn't really, that I can see, tie this to any lawsuit. Just basically get that information, don't get rid of it. And let's be honest, Disney Plus has already scrubbed certain things from this movie. So I guess coming out publicly with this would maybe keep them from scrubbing something again down the road. Because Brittany, you and I were able to hop on our Disney Plus account and watch any part of it. There were moments and lines in that movie that have already been scrubbed because it went to Disney Plus.
Yeah.
So you could see them making a move like that to be like, oh, let's just go ahead and change this line.
We don't want to be anything to do with this.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So I guess that's what they're claiming. And again, I don't know. It's in connected with anticipated claims against Ryan Reynolds. So I guess that's the legal term.
And like the funny thing is, so I've got a lot of comments. People said, I feel like Justin claiming this is mocking him, just solidifies some of the allegation made against him, right? And like that is the confusing thing, that so if they're making fun of him for wanting an intimacy coordinator, okay, like I can understand then him being like, see, this is something I was calling for. So like this would help him in that way. But again, I don't think it's illegal or even necessarily like morally right or wrong. I can't even say. Then we fall in the line of like, so they thought they thought something was funny that you did or said, and they turned it into part of a character.
Or are they claiming that any paper trail of this goes into the smear campaign lawsuit? That they are continuing this narrative of this smear campaign.
That's what I'm thinking.
And Baldoni is trying to prove that, oh no, this smear campaign happened. Look at it.
Yeah, I guess that's where my question lies of like which one they want this for, because that's very tactical. And that does back up his claim of like, yeah, listen, you saw what my team was doing just in case we needed it. We didn't do any of this, but she was already doing it. Like the ping ponging of this.
Yes.
It is insane. Like, and you go, you know what, at the end of all this, I don't know if I like either of you anymore.
Exactly.
I'm exhausted by all of this.
Like, it's kind of, like you said, like it's a little bit mean behavior, but at the same time, like, I'm sure this happens all the time with things, like, I had a poll going. I can't get to it because it's on my phone.
Yeah.
But I think at the time I asked, was this making fun of Justin Baldoni? And I would say it was probably 75%. I think we had like 50 some votes, not very many, but like 75% said no, this isn't making fun of.
I voted like 40 minutes ago or something.
Yeah.
And it was something along those lines, which was surprising to me.
Yeah.
Because I thought most people would think it was making fun of him.
Yeah, me too. And like, again, we're taking a step back. Is that wrong or right? We don't really know, but I do feel like it is their little inside joke. And if she's having a traumatic time, this would be like a way a release and like, hey, at least we have this. We have the, you know what? It feels good. Someone mentioned something about my body. I'm not bouncing back, whatever. And I'm not saying that person said that, but if she felt that way, this would be that way to vent. Mm-hmm. And we know, and Mike, don't forget who shot Nice Pool first.
What do you mean?
Wasn't it Lady?
Oh, Lady Pool. Yeah, she was the head of all of the Deadpools who ultimately, spoiler alert, kills Nice Pool.
Yeah.
Is this big horde of Deadpools. Well, the one in the lead with her Uzis was Lady Pool. But I do also want to say it is very interesting, and with that poll, and this is playing out in the court of public opinion, everyone is getting these little slices of information, and one side's trying to say, no, this isn't, just let it play out. The other side is trying to make sure they continue to get ahead of it from a PR standpoint. It's so fascinating because there's such a, and we discussed it for the show, there's a group. You've got like, I don't know, 80% of the people that consume pop culture, listen to my talk, love it, want to get all they can, who really like Ryan Reynolds. Mm-hmm. Then you have the 20% that dig a little deeper, and maybe even higher when it comes to people that are listening to my talk, because you got Blinded by the Item and stuff like that. Anytime we do a story on Blinded by the Item about Ryan Reynolds or about Blake Lively, the hate and vitriol that comes for those two people, they are absolutely, the deeper you get into this world and the deeper you get into the blind items and the behind the scenes and the inner workings of it, there's just this despise of Ryan Reynolds.
People, what is it? What is it?
I mean, he's been tied to different. It's also the idea that we just love taking people down with their height. Yeah. And he is an absolute example of a dude who went and became an actor and now is parlayed it into, billions, or I don't know what he's worth now with Mint Mobile and all the other stuff that he does. So it is part of that, just this idea of, cutting people down when they're at their absolute height. But the benefit of the doubt varies based on how deep into this you get.
Interesting.
And it's just some fascinating thing that I've seen because I get to hear it from both sides.
Yeah.
Do you hear anything about, like, people, at least, I know there's always things in the blinds, especially now with Justin Baldoni, resurface, things like that. What is the vibe around him for people, like people's perception that are really into this world, is like the deep divers?
Yeah, I haven't seen a lot negative against him.
Yeah.
And it also might just be because, again, he hasn't been at the quite height of success that these other two have been.
No.
So it's easy to take shots at Blake Lively and Ryan Reynolds. They're a high-profile couple, and he hasn't been in there. But we know some of the work he's done, and even why they maybe use that line about identify as a feminist, some of the causes that are important to him, the project that he's taken on. For the most part, it's pretty positive. Mm-hmm. Just the overall perception prior to this situation.
Right.
I mean, as I would have to agree with you, Mike, is like everyone, if you would have said in any sort of Reddit forum, in any sort of little dark spot of the internet, said Justin Baldoni, they'd say, who dat? Mm-hmm. Nobody knew who this man, he didn't have anything written about him because there was, so.
Right. Like the guy from Jane the Virgin or.
And I don't think, I don't. Yeah. I mean,
I'm bad with it.
Yeah. So.
I mean, and we've been, obviously, if you were part of listening to this, we did an entire hour-and-a-half special with him and different organizations that defend women who are survivors of domestic violence, domestic assault. And our very brief interaction with him was very positive.
Yeah, of course.
It was bringing light to a subject that needs light brought to it. It was educational. It was everything that, at least from what we knew at the time and what was said by the PR around It Ends With Us, what It Ends With Us was supposed to be about.
Yeah.
And what his camp says still is what his whole intention was with this film. But it all just goes down to the he said, she said.
It is. And I think the real is, it's still that same truth of believe people who say that things and on both sides. And so you have to kind of find yourself in a situation of there are times when if all this information comes out, you go, all right, like this is obviously a personal thing, like a personal vendetta. And it's kind of hard to suss out which part is you just don't like this person and which one is actually predator or, feels abusive,
Right.
I mean, we're going to keep this. I have a feeling this is still just the beginning of it all, for better or worse. But the fact that we are going to a place of now, I was like scrubbing through this movie, finding audio from Nice Pool is just, we're getting a bit unhinged here. We're missing the mark. And I know what he's trying to do is like, he wants to portray, and I'm not saying it's right or wrong, and I'm not saying it's truthful or not truthful. He wants to portray as, look at these big bullies who are making fun of me because I am a feminist.
Right.
Like, look at these big bullies that are looking part of me because, or making fun of me because I am, I wanted an intimacy coordinator. There's a lot of things that are playing out in public opinion. And like this is, I would say, leans to helping out his argument.
100%.
So I get where he's coming from.
On a much, much lighter, very different note, Sofia Vergara. Is she moving on? Obviously, she and Joe, whose last name I can never say, I butcher every time, Mengeleona? Sure.
Yeah, we're going to leave it there.
Thank you. Since they broke up, she has said her year she wants to manifest dating someone new, doing something new. Remember that they broke up. Really, what it sounded like is that it boiled down to he wanted kids, and she was like, I don't want any more kids. That was what everybody was saying when it kind of boiled down to. Does Lewis Hamilton want kids? I don't know, but they were just seen socializing, lunching together. This was in New York City. It was him and Sophia. Obviously, they were out and about at just like a lunch date with a couple of other people. Folks have immediately jumped on this. His people, his reps, have told TMZ they are just friends. This was casual. It was a big lunch group. They're both very good looking, very attractive, highly successful people. Would it be that shocking that they would have a group lunch, but maybe see where things could go?
Absolutely. Why
Mike
not?
says no.
Oh.
I say no.
I mean, I would say, like, if you look at these pictures, it doesn't really look like they're even acknowledging each other
Is it
much.
not giving romance?
Don't get me wrong. We might be told that's what's happening. But let me give you some names.
Okay.
Nicole Scherzinger.
Yeah.
Gigi Hadid.
Yes.
Rihanna.
Wow.
Kendall Jenner.
Big name.
Rita Ora. Sophia Richie. Nicki Minaj. Shakira.
Oh my God. This list
Shakira.
is huge.
Sofia Vergara. Those are the names of the people that Lewis Hamilton has been in a relationship with since 2015. And I left off 3 that you might not have heard of before. 3 more on top of that.
He's a for hire.
What?
He's a for hire. Like, he is your publicationship go-to.
He's either a publicationship go-to or he's looking for that. Yeah. We often talk in the blind item world about certain publicationships. And then you also get names like a Gigi Hadid, who's dated a Leonardo DiCaprio, who's dated many other people, and then now currently is dating Bradley Cooper. You get certain names like that. Rita Ora also had a lot of high-profile relationships while she was working up the fame ladder. I'm not saying Sofia Vergara or Lewis Hamilton particularly need the fame, but you don't know. It seems very publicationship-y.
Yeah.
And there's also another undertone as well that we talked about. And again, I support anybody making the decision they want to make and don't tell anybody that they need to come out or tell us how their life is or isn't. There's been lots of speculation for a very long time that Lewis Hamilton, because of the sport he is in, Formula One, that has multiple millions and billions of dollars that come in from all around the world, that if he doesn't basically feel comfortable or from an ability from a sponsorship standpoint to come out if indeed he was gay. And that is why you hear the term beard all the time in these types of situations with whether it's actors or people or whatever. And is this just the next contract relationship?
Interesting.
So there's that angle that's been played out quite a bit. And again, like I said, I don't
You don't
You
care.
do
either way.
you.
You're like, you do you.
You do you. You feel comfortable with whatever you feel comfortable with, but that has been speculation that's happened for quite some time. And then again, when you hear these same names with the same type of people, or like with the same people who are maybe having that same conversation, it just becomes, that's interesting. It's noteworthy.
A little more strategic than like, this is just a lover.
Definition of publicationship right there.
Lover.
So. I don't know.
Oh, well, it was fun while it lasted for all of 30 seconds when I thought maybe, just maybe.
On the other side of the coin, Mike, I don't feel like these two people at all are like a fake feud. I think these two men absolutely hate each other.
Yeah, Drake and Kendrick Lamar. Oh my goodness, we have stepped this up another level. We found out late yesterday, and I was actually kind of like, oh, this is interesting. The legal complaint that Drake had against his own label, UMG, Universal Music Group, he pulled up. And basically is like, okay, the perception and the stories were, oh, Drake is no longer going after his own label for the diss track that Not Like Us. The diss track. Go ahead.
Oh, and the whole complaint was that they thought they promoted it fakely. There was like a bunch of bots and things like that to make the numbers look higher, right?
In addition to in Kendrick Lamar's diss track, Not Like Us, he flat out calls Drake a pedophile.
Yeah, that's kind of, you could sue against that.
Yeah. Now, he took that claim off, or he took that complaint away, and that's because today he's officially suing. So he is officially suing his label, Universal Music Group, for spreading false and malicious narrative about the fact that he is a pedophile in the song, because that's the lines and that's what Kendrick Lamar says in the song. Now, he makes it very clear in this lawsuit, he is not going after Kendrick Lamar. I am absolutely not going after Kendrick Lamar in this lawsuit. I am going after my label and his label, Universal Music Group, because of what they did from an cost-cutting to Spotify. He believes they actually paid Spotify or took some of the costs away to make it easier for them to promote this song. He believes there were radio stations that had a pay-for-play situation where they were given incentive. Radio hosts across the country were given incentive to play this song. He also believes that the only reason Kendrick Lamar is playing the Super Bowl is because Universal Music Group used their influence to make sure he's playing the Super Bowl so he could play this song.
What?
That is all in this lawsuit.
He is going for it.
Jimmy.
And he's like,
calm down.
I love it how he's like, Kendrick, I'm not mad at you, mostly because I don't want you to write more music about me. I'm mad at UMG. Like, please stay out of this, Kendrick.
What an awkward hump day for like in the office. You walk in and you're like, hey, so did he just sue us?
And you
Do we still play his, do we still like promote his music?
Yeah, I have to email him back about a thing I was supposed to help him with. Do I still do that? And they'd be like, I don't even know.
Now we'll have to see how it plays out. But just imagine, we're maybe never going to have to make this decision, but he just sued a company that he signed a 4-year, $400 million deal with 2 years ago.
Speak for yourself. I mean, I might sign those kind of deals.
That's crazy.
$400 million?
$400 million deals. It's insane. But again, that's what this lawsuit is claiming. And again, it's shocking when he says some of these things that like they literally set up the Super Bowl just so they could play the song and get this narrative out that I'm a pedophile.
He
But
wants out that contract.
It's not even that big of a deal though, because if you spread it between 4 years, that's $100 million a year. Price
He's
per
like, that's
wear,
not
people.
enough.
Price per wear.
Not enough. It's just not enough.
And those are your hot to goes. Please like, subscribe, comment, all the things. We have our podcast we put up every day of the week. We got to follow along.
Anywhere you get your podcast, people.